The spice must flow, or at least the air and the water.
I finally know what you're saying.
I got my equipment.
I get it.
Oh yeah, you finally
get it
understand
now.
now what the spice must flow. Okay. Anyways, hey guys, welcome to our review of Dune. But first, let's get to a word from our sponsor.
Hey guys, it's October. It's a spooky time
Best
of year.
time ever.
But you know what's really scary? Putting your personal data out there over unsecured Wi-Fi, in public places, on your cell phone. That's why you need a VPN like Surfshark.
With recent breaches, that we won't say. It's time to take care of yourself.
Protect your data.
In addition, guys, you get unlimited usage for friends and family. You've got access to 15 Netflix libraries from different countries when you just set the geolocation. Guys, never let anybody tell you what content you can and can't access, and then protect your own content with Surfshark, guys. We got a deal for you, of course. With the Angry Joe Show, you can get 83% off a 2-year plan, and that's going to come with 3 extra months for free. All you got to do, click the link down below. Just explore it. Trust me, we've done the research. This is the VPN that you want to get. Angry Joe Show. Oh, no, it's surfshark.deals/Angry Joe Show or /. Always get that wrong. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoy the video. Check it out. Okay, so Dune Part 1, actually titled on screen as Part 1. Yeah, I was a little concerned about that part. So first off, let me just say, wow. Oh, my little apparatus here, my still suit. That was a atmospheric film.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it is worth seeing on just the visuals, the grandness, the scope, and the sound design. The music is really, really good. And I think it's a faithful adaptation of the source material from Frank Herbert, and certainly a different take than 1984 David Lynch's film.
No Sting. Sting should have been here.
There's no Sting, right? Fade is not here. We don't get weirding modules. We don't really get the pug or the milking of the cat. Cause okay, so let me.
What?
Joe's like, what?
What the fuck?
Joe, you need to see the original. Anyways,
yeah.
I come from it. The book so long ago, I can't really remember much of it. But I watched the movie over and over, and I would jump on my couch. I was a little kid. I'd like running around my house doing these killing words. Alex?
I've read almost all of the series. I've seen the 80s masterpiece that is garbage. You would love it.
So
it is so great. I mean, it is wild. But
so
it's been a long time.
Be your lore master.
It's been a long time. But
and then Joe,
Brand new.
never.
not a goddamn thing.
You thought we were seeing Doom.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Doom.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that
I
sounds
like
cool.
Doom.
Hasn't read the book. Hasn't watched even the 1984 film. So. I liked it, but because I sort of breathe in because unfortunately it wasn't as good as I thought it would be, and it has the only major problem with it, I think, is the fact that it's a Dune Part 1. It even titles it at the beginning of the film Dune Part 1, and I think that kind of, it's not quite as satisfying of a story. I can see parts that are stretched out, at least from when you compare to the 1984 film, which some parts need to be stretched out. Because the 1984 film, Joe, you see it, the pacing is all over the place. Okay, enough with my weirding module here. The pacing is all over. Is all over the place, and this one, the pace is a lot slower, a lot slower. But it definitely follows the beats of the book and tells the story in a pretty faithful way. So there's that. Unfortunately, I was like, God, is this part of the story a satisfying part of the story? and it is what I was looking for. So Joe, from they have said that the Dune books are often wondered as maybe unfilmable. We had a very famous attempt. What's the gentleman's name? Tarkovsky. I don't remember his name, but there was an attempt to get this film on screen, and it was a wild disaster. And there's even a documentary on it. It's a great documentary film you should check out. But then it eventually got put together by David Lynch. And so some people thought it was kind of unfilmable with all the ideas and the craziness. So Joe, what did you think of Dune? I'm most curious about your opinion. Since
this one,
were you lost? Is my main question.
No, I fucking loved it.
Okay,
I really enjoyed this film.
Wow, good.
Yeah, like this one, like I have nothing to compare it to, so I just went in like, okay, I'll just let's see what happens, and I fucking loved it. I loved the score. It just amplified everything, and like you said, it is slow, but like for somebody like new, like I don't know what's going on, like I could keep up with everything. I know what's going on.
Okay,
so
good.
I
That's
love it. My only gripe about it is like I gotta
Hell yeah.
wait for the second part.
Yes, me too.
I fucking love
me
this
too.
film.
So it's not Tarkovsky. I can't believe it's it. Jodorowsky's Dune. That documentary you need to see, Joe. If you're now a Dune fan,
you
go
need to
see
watch
that
Dune.
documentary.
You need to watch the
Oh,
original,
and
then you read the
also
book, and then
1984.
you can watch the
Like, I'm
documentary.
like, man, that's really good.
So I love the source material, love the universe. It's so fucking cool. This is a story about Paul Atreides and his ascension in this, his importance in this universe. We're in 10,191 or something, the year 10,000, and humanity has spanned across the stars, thousands of worlds, and not necessarily everybody can do hyperspace jumps. There's interspace travel, but it's sublight and things like that, and you have all these really interesting elements that honestly are kind of brushed over in this particular film that I actually thought the 1984 film did a little bit better in terms of the Spacing Guild, who has kind of a monopoly on spice and how important it is to them in folding, space. They are so ingrained in the Empire because they facilitate all the travel between the stars, and so those kinds of weird elements. And then, if you don't know, the cultures. This feudal system, because it kind of seems like a Game of Thrones in space, and you even throw in Jason Momoa here, right? And you've got betrayals and houses and shit, and so it takes all the best elements of Game of Thrones and hopefully leaves the bad ones the last season. We'll see on
how
that.
it ends.
Well, Joe, it gets pretty fucking crazy. So I'm curious how he's gonna handle it. A few films down along the line. But I'm saying too much. So what I'm saying is, in terms of setting up House Atreides, setting up the Harkonnen, and the story of Paul. This film does a really good job.
Yes, it did.
But it does lack some of the extra context. And maybe they thought that if we threw all this shit in, it would just go way over everybody's head. What did you think, Alex? Could you feel that the universe of Dune in here?
No, yes. I think for the most part, I think that people who remember the books will be disappointed, not upset. Well, there's going to be those people are going to be upset. The people that are going to be upset are going to be upset anyway. There were times when they were explaining things that I was a little pissed, and I'm going to be like, at the end, I'm going, this is why this is important. This is why this is important.
I stopped myself, by the way, because I wanted to explain everything to Joe, but I was like, no, I don't want to influence his opinion on it.
Yeah, they did. I think they did a pretty, it's almost criminal. There could have been a couple lines explaining the world, why they got there, why the spice is important. And
it doesn't seem like the spice is important in this film.
Yeah, and they did they just kind of rushed through some things, and then I was like, okay, we're going real breakneck speed. Maybe we don't have time. No, we had time. It's just like this is something that you needed to really, in my opinion, this is a really interesting world. It's a really interesting universe, and they could have spent fucking 30 seconds at the beginning talking about AI, talking about why spice is so important, using the word mentat. Like, not even mentioned. Not even one fucking time. You're just like, that guy's eyes went back in his head.
Alex, look, it's a mentat.
Yeah, it's like that guy's eyes went back in his head. He's like, what? Mentos? Like, what the fuck's happening? And then there's things, I mean, we bring up mentat. Like, Paul's not a mentat in this. Yeah. And that's like a big part. There's like a couple little few things. There's very few things that kind of piss me off a little bit.
This Paul is kind of different, at least from the 1984 films, Paul. 1984 films, Paul kind of had his shit together. He even knew what was going on in the political world, like what's being set up. He saw it coming. This Paul's like, maybe I could marry his daughter. Maybe I'm the one.
They're going like a much younger. They're like, or like mid-teenagers instead of someone who was, I don't even remember how old he was, but he was probably in his 20s in the 84 version.
So to me, it was like this film does such a good job of the visuals, the music, the atmosphere, the Dune. If you like Middle East and sand. Anakin Skywalker would absolutely hate this film and this planet. He would not go to Arrakis. That would be the one planet that he would stay away from. The Death Star would show up, blow up Arrakis. But anyways, they do such a good job with that stuff, and they incorporate a lot of the Fremen. I felt more Fremen culture. I felt more, integration. That stuff is good. And you would think for a film that kind of removes the 1984's third act, which is a mess anyway, and it kind of rushes the final battle because it gets real epic towards the end, they kind of throw that out, and it's like 2 acts, right? And you would think you would have so much more time to sort of develop the characterizations and form bonds with, say, Paul, say, Duncan, say, even his father.
Who? Duncan?
Yeah,
he
but these characters, I don't know why, I wasn't forming connections with them. I just felt like they weren't fleshed out in the way that I was hoping for. And I know it's very difficult to compare with a book because, you got time and you can do that. But I think maybe some of the acting here wasn't quite up to par. Or maybe, this is quite an old book, so we've kind of seen it done a few times before.
I agree with you on that point. I think that I would be more forgiving if there weren't slow portions of this movie, and so he really wanted to show long sequences of them in the desert, long sequences of them just walking. There are sequences of him putting his hand in the water on his home planet and playing with the grass and doing all these other things, and those moments,
those are the money shots,
are not. They don't bother me. I like those when they're in a movie. But the issue is if we're cutting things out of the movie and out of the story, and like you put the fucking hand in the water shit here, and then Duncan has so little goddamn time.
Right? Yeah.
No,
it's like we're kind of focusing on some of the wrong things, and like I don't know. So I'm not saying that I didn't like it because like I was the biggest champion of this film. I wanted every one of my audience to go and see it because I want to see that part 2. And so you would think I'd come out from it, yeah, boy, this is a bad. Everybody go out and see this, man. And I come out more like, yeah, it's good. Could have been better. And it feels a little incomplete. Maybe I'm just spoiled by 1984. Another thing is, 1984's film, it's so stupid. It's so melodramatic. They even have this. Do you remember, Alex? Like all the internal dialogue that they talk to themselves in the film. You haven't seen it, Joe, but it's so stupid. But that kind of adds a little bit of an extra charm, like it's a play, and it's. That's what my girlfriend says. Like we're watching a play, for the 1984. And so, but for some reason, that kind of gives it more gravity, gives it more, I don't know, pageantry. This one was very sort of clean, plain. I'm struggling to sort of describe it. Very not stale, but sterile. Sterile is what I'm describing it. Yeah, they're just nobody elevates to a certain level. Everybody's like, it's taken so serious is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no.
Now, the source material was taken seriously, but those performances in the 1984 make it fun.
You expect somebody like break in, not
really like that, but like the Harkonnens, Joe. They're not bubbly, disgusting, gross, and
yeah.
fucking,
they're just fucking brutal.
you know.
Well, they were purpose. There's one of the issues I don't want to. Well, we'll go into spoilers, but they were sterilized to the point where they completely wash over how disgusting some of the characters are going to be, and book readers are going to be pissed.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying is that I feel like, you know, there's some elements here missing for the Denis, his sort of style.
Yeah.
He has his own take on it, and his take is kind of different from obviously David Lynch's, and so even the book in sort of.
You like David Lynch, right? You should watch it.
You should watch it, Joe. Anyways, I would love to see. So, as stupid as it may sound, I kind of like the 1984 version better in certain aspects. Okay. Like more aspects I like from this film more, like the designs of the ships. I really appreciated the designs here. Really cool. Their armor's awesome. Though the sort of dragonfly ship, Joe, may not have made sense, but that's the way it was in the book, and it's just cool to see that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow, that looked cool.
Yeah, you like it? Okay, sweet. But yeah, so as a fan of Dune, the books, and then the 1984, I kind of ended up more mixed than I thought I would, and so I'm just trying to find a way to describe why. So, anyways, and so that's what I'm feeling. It's a and I was hoping that we would flesh out a little bit more of the universe and the lore. Maybe that's coming in part 2, and how it affects the universe on a greater whole. So, anyways, that's my thoughts. Alex, any more from you?
Well, not until we get to spoilers or the final verdicts.
So let's jump into the final verdicts.
Okay, final verdicts. I really like this movie. Like, I know what you're saying with the chemistry between the people. Like, I kind of wanted to see a little bit of more interaction between them. But, like, the acting was done pretty well. Like, I could believe it. I was like, okay, Duncan is like, they have a relationship. They're pretty tight with each other. But, yeah, it does kind of gloss over what you guys are saying. But I did get the gist of it. It's like, these guys are the, like, brutes. These guys are, like, doing this, the spice. It's important, but I don't know how important. Because
they don't tell you.
They don't say a single thing.
Yeah, all they say is like it's pretty important. And I was like, okay, I get that they use it for like certain things, like
it's saying glitter, and it makes you.
No,
high.
you actually don't know what they use it for. If you just watch this film,
yeah, no, they don't explain it at all.
I think there is one line to fold space.
Yeah, they say that.
Yeah,
they
but
use
not
it to,
why
like, to see,
or anything.
like to see like the kind of like future, then like through space and say like through I guess. For transports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like I get the gist, but I don't. I know it's the basic stuff. I don't know like in detail what you guys know, obviously, but I love the acting in this. I love the cinematography. The score is just great. It's amplified every scene, especially like the battle scenes. And I like this the character Paul.
Well, I'm happy because now you're a Dune fan. So you're.
But yeah, like going
this is what I wanted
going
for
from
you.
something like this, like a serious one, and watching that.
Well, Joe, then you've got
like
a whole new
reverse
world opening up to you. You got the 1984. You got the books. If you like this, you're gonna be happy.
Yeah, but overall, like I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go with a 9 for this one.
Holy shit! Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Good. You need to jump into the.
It was cool. Like I liked everything about it, even the slow parts.
So we like the board game. Me and Joe and Alex and Ray played the Dune board game, and I love that one too. So okay, well,
and I still feel like Paul, like I guess you like he doesn't. I guess you're comparing it to the other one, but this one's like okay, he's still learning. He's like trying to grasp it. He doesn't want to be the leader.
Yeah, here he actually has more of an arc. It seems like he's learning.
The
previous one, he's already kind of a badass, and then he's just awakening.
Yeah, the other one's like I could see the little transition. He has to step up. So I like his arc.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start off by saying that signing up to do Dune Part 1 without a securing Dune Part 2 is the most disrespectful thing that you can do.
As soon as I heard that, I was
and
like, no.
Anyone, I mean, I'm torn, right? Because I really, really did like this, and I think this is a perfect vehicle for me to introduce a universe that I really like. Look, Dune's not my favorite like series or anything, but I really like it. And I went through all those books, and I want other people to like it. And I think this is one of the perfect vehicles to get the average person interested in the Dune universe.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I felt the same way about Starship Troopers, the book, which is so wildly different than the Casper Van Dien thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, they're wildly different, but one is easier for me to be like, hey, buddies, you wouldn't like this book ever, but we should watch this movie, and it's a favorite. This movie did so well that I know that I'm going to be able to sit down with people and show them this, and if they are interested in more, we can bring them in. Bring them in. And yes, they cut shit out that they shouldn't have. They changed some things, like wild story things that, in my opinion, are vitally important to the story going forward. They change. I don't fucking know why.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take off a point if we combine all of them together. But I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I really liked it, and I think that even if you are not a Dune fan, even if you just had nothing, I think that you will like this movie.
It wasn't like an information dump. Let's go. This is all that's going on, like right from the get go. It's like it kind of fleshed out for me. I was like, okay, for me, average Dune.
Wow.
Just learned about it.
But whoever's did the sound for this thing, when people are whispering, don't do the wah. Stop that shit. That there was so many times where they're talking softly, where you just don't hear what they're saying.
Oh yeah, it's very difficult to listen to the whispers here.
They need to cut that shit out.
There's a lot of whispering in the 1984 version. There's a ton of, but you could hear what they were saying.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sand. There's a lot of
the powers are pretty cool too.
It's hard to kind of see something sometimes, but you're on a sand planet, and it makes sense. And there's lots of storms and stuff. But okay, compared to the source material and also the 1984, which takes it to wacky levels. Maybe we don't need to go that far. But it just where's the gross? Where's the blood? Where's the
Chapter 2.
It's just so clean for me.
I
don't know, and I think that Denis, the director, that's kind of his thing,
Denis.
and Denis. But it is a excellent entry point and an adaptation of the source material. And yes, I wanted to see more of the Bene Jesuits. I wanted to see more
Benny
of
the Jets.
Benny the Jets.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of the witches, and I wanted to see more of the Spacing Guild, and just kind of let people know there's other houses in this universe and what's coming. You're seeing bits and pieces of it
that's how I feel.
in visions, and it's not explained or anything, but we'll get there. The Emperor, doesn't really play a part in it, whereas in the original, everything, I think they were worried. Everything is explained to you in the original. Everything is handheld for you in the 1984 version. This one, there's no fucking hand-holding. You just have to figure it out on your own, and hopefully eventually in part 2, some of these things come into play. So, and god damn it, the thing I was worried about most was an unsatisfying ending. And to me, it was an unsatisfying ending. I was hoping that maybe we'd get a worm ride. Maybe it would end at another part. Maybe it ended Blue Eyes. He'd open up Blue Eyes. Something. But this is it's time to go into the desert, right? And fuck.
It's a good stopping point.
I am so
desert
disappointed. Like this thing needed to be. That needs to be 10 hours long to finish the story.
Like a TV series.
So
they are.
I'm still in my final verdict. You guys both gave it a 9.
It's up to you, man. I don't have anything to compare.
Yeah,
to.
I mean the difference is I wasn't bored. I mean this is just something like seeing everything on the screen. It's just like I don't think there was a time in this movie where I was bored or there's
just boring. I think I'm just used to the boisterousness of the 1984. It's
especially if you just watch.
I don't want to say boring. It's just sterile and quiet and stuff. More ponderous, more pretentious, almost in certain parts. But anyways, I'm going to rate this. I'm between a 7 and an 8. And I think I'm gonna my knee jerk. I mean, we literally just saw this a minute ago. I'm gonna go 7.
Okay.
For that ending but I think it is the strongest 7 that I've seen, and I'm excited for it. I think it's a good entry point, and it just needs to be one film. So when part 2 comes out, boom, you put these things two together. Maybe it's 10 out of 10, right? Because people like longer and longer movies. I mean, Zack Snyder's movies, fucking 4 hours?
Yeah, but people aren't liking them. Depends, because this one I didn't mind it. Even if this one was 3 hours, because I was entertained the entire way through, and I felt like these scenes were kind of important. But that's just me.
So better battles, better technology, better visuals, better music. Oh shit! I'm going 8.
It's
I'm doing 8.
2021.
I'm doing 8. It's just, boy, it loses some points for the ending and half a film. Anyways, 8 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's jump into spoilers where me and Alex can go crazy. And
I'll watch.
Yeah, and we'll figure it out. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the spoiler section. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section.
But it did end with the
Worm Rider.
Yeah, the Worm Rider. It did.
Yeah, but you're right. It's like,
wait,
but seeing somebody else do it, you're like, fuck.
Well, he's like, oh, that's cool. I want to do that.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
He's still training. He's still got that arc.
No, Fremen know how to do it, so he needs to learn how to do it himself.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't do it. I just was hoping that we'd have a more satisfying conclusion. But this is... Now I understand why they say, okay, next we're going to focus on Chani's character. Because I was like, why would they ever, focus on Chani in this? It doesn't make any sense to me. But now it's like... It could repair one of the things in the 1984's version that was very lacking is like all of a sudden they're in love. I've loved you and I love you and I've always loved you. It's like, what? You just met her. You literally...
You've been dreaming about it.
In the 1984, he crashes. She's like, I wouldn't have let you hurt my friends. And then, it's like, so maybe they can repair that in this one where she teaches him the ways of the desert power and all this other stuff. And then he triumphantly comes back and avenges his father's death by attacking the Harkonnens. The Harkonnens. See, I don't know that. I mean, I'm used to the 1984's pronunciation, Harkonnen. She's saying Harkonnens, and then at one point I heard the Paul character in this film say the Fremen. And I'm like, no, it's Fremen. But okay, so there's a lot. They have their own pronunciations.
Freeman.
And like you said, this is a Paul that has a bit more to learn. He doesn't have some of the latent powers that the 1984 version of the book has, right?
Yeah. Well, the 60s.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's also supposed to be secretly trained as a mentat in the book series, and so that's kind of explaining some of his visions. He's kind of doesn't know what's going on, and they're like, oh, maybe it's this. He's been being trained to be kind of a computer type thing, and this they're just like, nope, it's not there. Mentats don't exist. We're not going to mention them. We're not going to do any of that stuff.
So in the universe, there was an AI war, and it devastated everything, and so then they outlawed that. And there are certain humans in the universe that then take juices and take things and just train their minds and bodies in order to become computers. To replace computers, and that's why that guy's eyes go white.
Yeah, he's like, hey, calculate that for me. He's like, beep, beep,
in the 1984 version, they're kind of gross. They get like fucking, they're like burping up shit all the time because of what they're doing to their bodies in order to maintain this. But in this one, it's like one little black mark on the chin. Right.
Very clean.
And I did like this one repaired the shield use, because in 1984 you're like, well, shit, if those shields work that way, why don't they use the shields all the time? And then in the rest of the film, you never see the shields again. In this film, they fixed that because, the base has the shields. Each individual soldier has the shields. So it's like, oh, okay. So that's why they're using feudal weapons. In the original, it's just they have one fight where it's like you got to go slow with the knife in order to penetrate the shield.
Like Tai Chi.
And then they never fucking talk about those shields again. And it's like, well... You realize if you're using these shields, maybe you could have fought the Harkonnen coming in. So they fixed that. And the ship designs they fixed.
Oh, they look so cool.
So much better than the 1984. And then also in the 1984, barely... All the action choreography was awful in the night. I mean, they barely fire a shot. The shots are a mess, and it just looks bad. Here... It looks amazing. This is an achievement in the visuals department and the sound department. I really, really like the sound. We got a new home theater, so the place was shaking when those worms came, and that actually made the worms scary, and cool. So,
what was up with that scene? Wherever the worm just starts staring at Paul.
Yeah, that might be hinting that the worms kind of know that maybe Paul is a little more special than just some random guy, or he's not at that level yet, and it's just like, you son of a bitch, I was going to eat you.
Yeah.
You know,
they
leave it up to interpretation. You read the books, you think, well, the worm probably knows a little bit about Paul, and eventually Paul's son, and who Paul's son then becomes. I thought
he was going to be like pull a fucking Harry Potter with the snake.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And where do you think she got it from?
Yeah. But yeah, so...
One thing that really
was the bullfighters in the book. It's been so long.
I don't remember the bullfighter stuff.
Like, I think it was, or maybe not. But they did a lot of this. Are the Atreides like Spaniards in space because they have the bullfighting?
No, bagpipes. Like,
So that's the thing about Dune, the books. They kind of mix a lot of things together. Yeah. So they throw in bagpipes. So you got Scottish. Spaniard spacefaring, and then I didn't hear the word Muad'Dib, in this one. They I think they were calling him something else. Like the Sazerac or whatever they were calling him.
Delicious
that's
cocktail,
sort of that's the perfect being. Whatever, I can't pronounce these things, and so in the Dune books you kind of have like Christian imagery, the Jesuits, and then you have a little bit of the Muslim stuff, Islamic stuff, where it's like kind of like what are they? I know in the original film they mentioned like a jihad, but I don't think
they do. They didn't mention it all this time. Yeah, it was definitely clean.
They try to clean up that kind of stuff, but all those elements were mixed in the original.
There was a lot of controversy, and there has been for a long time with the book series about this is a white messiah book and it's kind of shitty.
Oh yeah. So do you want to get into?
I mean,
that?
I think it's something
it's stupid.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I'm not offended by
stuff.
it, but like that's something that's not in there. He also really sanitized the Baron, right? The Baron is into young boys, even fantasy, and so it's like
and he's gross as fuck,
and he's super gross, and so like they completely sanitize all the.
On that.
Yeah, and so it's just
7.
Everyone is clean in this. In my mind, everyone is clean. Even the desert.
It's too fucking sterile.
Yeah, it's like they're wearing. There's
still dust on the shoulder.
Yeah, sometimes every now and then, but it's like everyone's hair is perfectly in place, and it's just. I think the look that he went for. It didn't work.
Too much like fucking. It's like he did Blade Runner fantasy, when it needed to be more dirty, more lived in, more
gritty.
Gritty. How would this actually shit? Like fucking people are destroying their bodies with these potions and things in order to give them mentat powers and try to be computers. On the Spacing Guild stuff, you have disgusting like humans that evolve and they're not even human looking anymore. They take so much fucking spice and things where they can calculate folding space and shit. And they come in there and they say the Emperor's like, da, da, da. He's like, shut the fuck up. Because they're the ones in true control. When
it comes down to it, we're in power.
Yeah, so hopefully we see some of that stuff in the sequel, but I don't have any confidence with the way he directs here and the way things look that, it's going to be gross. It's going to be...
No, it's going to be clean.
Interesting, yeah.
And then I also worry about it's like they haven't greenlit. I imagine the next one's going to get greenlit. It's doing well.
Yes.
And so, but that means that if they start filming and they get all the contracts signed, is everyone signing back up? Is he going to abandon the project? He's always he signs his name to a lot of projects. I want this to be finished and like gone all the way through. And it worries me. It's like I would never want.
I think he'll finish. He says I'm ready to go as soon as HBO is. So he will finish it. Don't worry about that. Now, will he do any other books? I don't know. I think he'll stop right.
I think the TV series will probably take over for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're gonna do like a tie-in TV series.
Yeah.
So gosh, I think I'm going back to a 7 because the spice melange less important. The Harkonnen. The lore and the juiciness of this universe, it's really just clean houses together, like leaning into the Game of Thrones stuff.
Well, and then one of the big betrayals they told you about.
Oh.
So the Emperor's troops, right, the Sardaukar, show up. They disguise themselves as a Harkonnen. in the books.
Yeah.
And it's important because the Emperor would never let anyone know that, like, all the houses
all
would
the houses
immediately
would be like, what the fuck?
What the fuck, you asshole? We're going to ally against you and kill your ass.
Yeah.
And in this, he's just like, oh, and maybe he just expected no one to survive. No, fuck that.
Yeah,
Like, that's
yeah.
there was no reason for it in the
I
movie.
liked these stupid little mini battles. It's so melodramatic in 1984 about between the Bene Gesserits and using the voice on each other. It's like, don't use that shit on me. You know, that stuff. It's here in this film.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of the voice, but, you know, I just wish they kind of explored that because all of those elements is kind of what deepens the lore, the Dune universe, and makes it more interesting. And so far, what makes it interesting here and what he focused on is the drama between the characterization of Paul and him, you know, transforming into the
leader,
perfect being Sazerac, but that doesn't happen here at all. It will later.
Well, we hope if the movie
So
gets made.
basically, what I'm saying is that it's all set up and no payoff.
I can see that.
And you're already at 9 out of 10, and so are you.
Oh,
so
yeah.
y'all are ready to go for this payoff.
I am.
I can't wait for the payoff. So, and I do want the payoff. And I think when you combine these two, probably be a 9
If
out
it
of 10.
didn't say part 1 under Dune,
Yeah.
this would be like a 3 out of 10 because it's not a complete movie. It's not a complete anything. But if everyone is like, look, it's written, everyone's ready to go, and this truly is, I mean, it's like the Fellowship of the Ring ends in kind of in a way that you're like, really, that's like the big ending for it. It's like, yes, because there's more coming, and so I'm in the mode where there's more coming. And
I also want to say before we end this, it's getting a little long, is that I was a little disappointed in the fact of I really like when the eyes glow blue, like deep blue and fucking bright. That you couldn't even see sometimes. I was like, "Is just her eyes glowing?"
It looked like he
or
was just
no?
wearing contacts.
No,
That's
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
It's real faint, but maybe that will grow as we move into the next movie and stuff. Anyways,
Well, I'm
the
thinking,
film
like,
is good enough, and I think it will lead to a second one, and we can get Dune back into the.
Yeah, what I'm also
consciousness.
kind of hoping for too. Like this was a chapter 1 that kind of like eased me into it, and the second one is like, okay, I already know what's going on.
It's time
and
to go
then,
full throttle.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. It's like, all right, this is
Fuck
what's
yeah.
gonna happen. It's like,
They
all,
better.
like
Fuck yeah.
more information.
This one is just like, hey, boom, Atreides and Harkonnen. That's all you really need to. Oh, and Fremen. It does Fremen really good. I just plugged in the thing.
Okay,
We're fine.
okay.
So it does that great. Next, bring in the rest of it. Bene
that's what
Gesserits.
That's what I'm assuming.
I am preparing myself because I'm worried that HBO is looking for that next 8-season series, and they're not going to do any of that. And they go, "Oh, you want to explore the lore of this universe? That you
Watch this.
Watch this TV series because Game of Thrones died, so we need you to watch every week."
We'll have to be careful with that. But no, they have to finish the story. They have to.
They have to
go against the Emperor.
They have to finish
He
Game of
has
Thrones,
to,
right?
You know, we have to put in the.
Vengeance. Vengeance.
Okay. Anyways, so what did you guys think? And let us know if you're a fan of the books and you're into that, or if you're brand new and you're coming in. That way, I know kind of where you're coming from and what direction. So, anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I want to thank our sponsor, Surfshark. Never let anybody tell you what you can and can't watch with the stupid geo-blocking stuff. Get around that. Protect your privacy. It's important, guys. Sign up. We have a code and a discount below. Thank you, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye guys.